The New York Times has been forced to apologise for printing an anti-Semitic cartoon. It appeared in the paper's international edition and depicts the Israeli Prime Minister as a guide dog leading President Trump, who's wearing dark glasses and a skull cap. The New York Times says publishing it was an error of judgment and has since deleted it. Here's what some people in Tel Aviv think about the image.
I don't think we have to be so sensitive and keep on bringing up anti-Semitic things every single time we see them.
I think that it's for sure an anti-Semitic photo.
I don't think it's an anti-Semitist caricature. It's a political caricature.
That cartoon is anti-Semitic because it goes back to the old days in the 40s when the Stürmer used to have Germans and Americans, or Germans and Jews, portrayed as dogs or lapdogs for American policy, and it's unbelievable and unacceptable.
The reaction in Israel's biggest city there. Well, in the United States, the reaction we heard centred on finding the line between satire and sensitivity.
I think the real problem here is the fact that they've kind of misrepresented the Jewish identity around Israel and around politics. And I think it's much deeper than that.
Although I think it's in poor taste, I understand it's a cartoon.
So we're kind of in a time where things are kind of sensitive and we have to use caution in how we express ourselves. And
I don't think it's anti-Semitic. I think it's interesting, and I think that it shows that Trump has a lot of influence in Israel.
Well, what is particularly embarrassing for the New York Times is that it's been trying to lead the way in tackling anti-Semitism. It's accused left-wing politicians such as US Representative Ilhan Omar and British opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn of anti-Semitism over their criticism of Israel, and hit out at critics of billionaire philanthropist George Soros. We discussed the paper's approach with legal and media analyst Lionel and attorney Jennifer Breeden.
This is the New York Times, the old gray lady, the standard of journalistic excellence, the newspaper that doesn't hesitate to point an accusing finger and say, you, whoever, you're anti-Semitic, or you're homophobic, or you're Islamophobic, or you're misogynistic. They're very quick with that. They said in review, this is anti-Semitic. Why didn't they think this before? The worst reason would be negligence, that they don't review cartoons. They don't basically know their own work product. So what is interesting is that in this particular case, the New York Times is finding itself, perhaps hoisted by their own petard, forced to apologize. And you notice nobody even argues.
Today, if you look at it, we have 6 major companies that own most of the mainstream media outlets in the United States. That includes the New York Times. And so you're talking about a very small pool of a narrative that's falling into here. And most of that is political, anti-Donald Trump, anti-conservative politics, anti-Republican. You have just a couple people framing a certain narrative that's a certain political lean. And you also have a blind hatred of Donald Trump, so much so that you overlook how this might offend many, many people.